we've been compared to Bert and Ernie. Bert, hello Bert.
It's better than Statler and Waldorf, you know.
Yeah,
they were the mean ones, weren't they?
Yeah, up in the I was gonna say up in the box seat.
The box seat. The gallery? It's a gallery, isn't it?
Yeah, peanuts from the gallery.
Yeah. They were funny. Yeah, I tried to show the young lad there the Muppets Christmas Carol at Christmas, and Jesus, fear's scary for young children. So
but all children's movies, like Darby O'Gill's one of the most horrifying films to ever show kids. The banshee at the end, my God.
Yeah, suppose it would be. Yeah. But it did. You know, it is like. No, I was watching them, just going, yeah, no, I understand why you're scared. Actually, yeah. I mean, you're 4, you're 5.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're probably a bit too young.
Yeah, we're on the Matrix next. It'll be grand. There'll be no existential dread whatsoever.
Yeah, no, he won't mind that. He said. What did he say yesterday? Oh Jesus, what was it? Was I alive before I died, and then did I come back again? Me and
well, I have a number of books I could loan you.
Me and Hagel stopped. I'm like, maybe. And then I was like, do you remember anything? And then he just goes on, I remember a bunker, and then there was a chum, and there was a bunker, because he has this fucking mad obsession with bunkers. He sees bunkers fucking everywhere he goes now. And so, like, then we knew he was bullshitting. He was just trying to say something. But or
unless his obsession with bunkers is that he was killed.
Yeah, well, maybe, World War II, you know, he was, I knew a fella who... Yeah, he was a UN... no, sorry, I didn't know him. I knew his friend. His friend was a UN's kind of weapons inspector during the Yugoslav stuff. And he walked downstairs into this bunker. And as he was walking down into it, he kind of realised, geez, there's something off about this place. And I can't put my finger on it. There's something not right. So he left it anyway. And the next day there was 3 or 4 lads killed down in it. And then he realised, like, in these bomb shelters, there has to be 2 turns going into it, so that when a grenade comes down, it probably won't get all the way down. And so when he walked into it, it was just a straight stair, and he didn't realise his mistake. So it's because of him that 3 people died. Obviously.
That's cruel.
Fucking well, that is cruel. Yeah, obviously it's not his fault at all. But he loved the war, and he loved Croatia so much that he ended up just moving there.
Oh, well, like my heat off. I saw a really horrible meme on Facebook just before I set up the Zoom, and it was about some professor at college, so to say, as a lot of these memes starts. I'm saying that I just got this from a student, and the line was something along the lines of, although the Matrix was made in the late 1900s, it still has relevance to today. And you go, oh no.
Nice. That's good. That's good. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, we put far too much kind of importance on what's happening on the internet and stuff. Like, and you can see the way that, like, news media swallows it all up and just kind of, like, there's news reports about, like, this is what the president tweeted, or someone tweeted this in response to this, and it's like, it's just this what do you call it when they have these what's the words I'm looking for, when you have these things that just kind of eat each other, and it's
like parasites. No, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. But it's all just very kind of pointless, because, like, how many people actually? Okay, say a lot of people have Twitter accounts. Let's say it's 50% of the population has a Twitter account. How many of them check it every day? How many of them check it once a month? How many? It's just kind of. Your man Adam Curtis had it in his. Was it in the? No, it wasn't the documentary. I think he was talking to Russell Brand, and he was saying that, like, he predicts that, like, in I think 30, 40, 50 years time kind of thing, that, like, we'll probably look back on the internet as this kind of quaint thing that we all used to do, which is I thought was really optimistic. I loved it. I was like, yeah, that'd be great if we could just, like, one day just the internet will just be this kind of encyclopedia that we look at every now and again for information, but don't use to talk to each other, because it doesn't seem to be working out.
Yeah, I also like Adam Curtis's kind of notion. He says that we're giving too much credence to the power of things like Facebook, that they probably don't have the power that we think they have.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Although 500 million people's emails and phone numbers dumped on the internet, including Zuckerberg himself.
Yeah, Zuckerberg's, You know, there are probably people who went through that looking for his phone number and then rang him up and then were like, gay.
Well, there's actually people who went through
that.
because how else did they know that it was his phone number? Like, so someone. Well, I suppose if someone had his phone number, it would be easy enough to check.
Just Control F.
Yeah, because like someone has to have his phone number. Like.
I'm not going to go looking for mine because I remember the account I closed had a phone number on it, but I don't think the account I have for work has a number on it. I don't know.
I thought you had to have a number connected to it. No,
I don't know.
I've no idea anymore.
I don't know. I really don't know.
All I know is I have a piece of software that every time there's one of these breaches, it tells me if my email or my information has been leaked. And for the first while, it's like, oh, I'll stay on top of this. And then one day, it was like, 150 accounts have been breached. Go, yeah, I'll never get around to that, ever. Let's hope I get away with that one.
Yeah.
But it's all like stupid accounts you join for like 3 seconds, like just to get something free or, joined, this might be a nice newsletter. And then they send you 6 newsletters a day and you go, why did I join this? What's that about?
Why have I done this?
Yeah. I'm not that interested in penguins. Why did I get a daily mailing list about penguins?
Yeah, it's. I hope that does kind of happen though with the internet. It'd be great if it is kind of seen that way, but I don't know. It's very.
Well, that other thing was very revealing. That there's whatever the figure is, something stupid. 70%, 80%, 1,000,000%, 106% of all anti-vax memes on Facebook are coming from 12 accounts.
Yeah, you're joking.
Originated from 12 accounts. So I mean.
This is one of these bot farm. Ever call it bot farms in Russia or something? Yeah.
Well, I'm not quite sure. Like, I mean, someone has to be actually making them too, so it's not all bots the whole way down or anything like that. So.
Oh yeah.
But 12 accounts. Then the fan gets whatever. I don't know the exact figure, but it's like 75, 80. It's a big figure, like of all the.
I wonder what's the outlet. They must be getting fairly good money because, like, you got to come up with some punchy content there, don't you? Like, but are they getting the money from the memes, or like is it from like I've had some really cool memes that have had loads of hits. No one sent me any money, so I mean, no.
But it's leading to something, isn't it? Like
I'm seeing it as a conspiratorial thing. That
right,
because we know like for sure that they are these Russian bot farms, but like at the top, like you say, at the top of the bot farms, there are people who are actually running it. But like, so there are people doing it. I don't know if they pay very well though. I have no idea.
Well, you also see those
we should ask Mark Snowden. Is Mark Snowden? What's his first name? Edward Snowden. Who the fuck is Mark Snowden? Don't know.
I think Mark Snow is he Mark Snow is because I always get mixed up with him and Mark Frost. One of them did Twin Peaks and one of them wrote the theme tune to X-Files. So one of those Snow Frost.
So okay.
But do you see the photos of the Chinese people? Well, I assume they're Chinese because the meme said it was Chinese. Other nationalities are available, but they're like literally have 60 phones in front of them, and they're just clicking ads, click to because they're the people selling the ads. So it's to make it look like your ads are doing much better than they are.
Jesus.
Yeah.
There has to be easier
Everything's
ways to make. Everything is a lie. There has to be easier ways to make money.
What, scamming people? That's the easiest way to make money is to scam people.
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah. This everything is a lie thing has really gotten to me over the weekend now with this whole Celtic Druidry stuff and just.
I know, but you must have had an inkling at the bottom of your heart that you were going to get to that everything is a lie with the Celtic stuff because so much of it is obviously just a lie, made up 4 years ago by some dude.
The problem is that when I'm trying to talk to people about it, people who are running, say, Facebook pages or even running Druidic orders, Druidry orders. No one even knows what the right fucking word is. Is it Druidry or Druidism or Druidic? No one knows.
Pagan.
It's bizarre. They can't even. It's not pagan though.
Bardism.
Bardism. No, fuck that shit. I'm a bard. No, you're not. You're a poet. Shut up. You're not a bard. Nonsense. I'm studying this to be a druid mediator. What? Like, seriously, you're going to stand there between the Kosovovians and the Serbs and the Croatians, and you're going to be like, ooh, I'm going to recite some poetry and stop the latest war. Shut up. That's not the way things work anymore. Yeah. Jesus Christ. No, just these people rake my head. But anyway, It's just that, like, you try and talk to
Sledgehammer
them.
Spud, here he comes.
No, listen.
We need a team tune, Sledgehammer Spud.
This comes from, it comes from things like the Ohm, okay? So we know there's problems with the Ohm, just like there's problems with the runes, the Nordic runes, okay? We know there is. Now, what annoys me is that people will stick with the Robert Graves and the Iolo, blah, 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 whatever the fuck his pen name was. Lolo. It's like, what's that? YOLO. You only live once, isn't it?
Yeah.
You only live,
YOLO, oh no.
I only live once, or whatever. Anyway, so they came up with this revivalist stuff, and in fairness to them, they tried their best, but a lot of this stuff was they just kind of, there's a gap in the information here, and I need to fill a paragraph, so I'll just make it up.
Yeah.
And. But like since then, so here's my problem is that since then, so they did this thing 100 years ago, right? But since then, like, other people have found out, oh wait, no, he was wrong about this. This is more accurate. We can't say it's 100%, but we say it's more accurate. But instead of people taking on the new information, they just stick with the older stuff
or double down.
Yeah, and it's just, that really does my head in, because like I was trying to talk to someone about this the other day, and they were just like, oh well, that's the way it's been for, since we started the order. And I was like, yeah, but like, why can't you change it? Because this is the way that it's more likely that the tradition actually was. And they're like, no, this is the way that we do it. I think that's a wrong way to look at. That's the wrong way to look at life. For me, that's a totally wrong way to look at life. It's kind of like, well, I mean, it's kind of like, okay, so everyone is getting electric cars, but then you say, nah, I'm going to stick with diesel. Yeah, but hold on now, but there's many, many problems with diesel, and it causes bad things, and no, I like diesel. It's exactly the same thing. It's just people are stuck in their rut, and they won't. And look, I know I come across as being maybe a bit overly aggressive about this.
No.
Let's
say passionate.
Yeah, okay, but the thing is that, okay, look, take one thing from this podcast then, is that you can change your mind on things when you and find better ways of doing it.
You see, that is the current sin, isn't it? That we're not allowed to change our mind about things.
That's just crazy.
It's so crazy.
This all started with something. I was talking to a fella about this pagan and Wiccan and Celtic Wheel of the Year, and it turns out it's completely made up. Just there's no basis for it.
By a king, is it, or something?
At all.
Yeah.
No, this Iolo fella made it up.
All right.
Because he and many people of his time as well thought that the Druids had built Stonehenge, Newgrange, all these monoliths, But the thing is that, like, these are thousands of years older than Celtic Druids that came later, and so they have this thing. All right, well, the monoliths were built, and they were to do with the solstices, the equinoxes, the yada 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 yada, and so they must have celebrated them. And yeah, okay, they must have, but like that doesn't mean that the fellas who came like 2,000 years later did as well. But there was a tradition in the land when they came there. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they had nothing to do with it, Yeah. And also as well, like, there's something new I was reading just there at the weekend that, like, the newest research suggests that the Celts didn't celebrate their New Year on the 21st of December, which is what just everyone thinks.
Yeah.
It might actually have been on the 1st of May.
Right. Okay.
So that's mad, and it's like, well, okay, so like, I don't know. It's just, but then again, like, if you are running an order or you're trying to revitalize or reconstruct a thing, you would get stuck in. I see. I see both sides of it.
I think that where the line in the sand should be, if you are saying we are a traditional Druidic following the old path, the old way, the whole thing, you must change with new information. If you are, we are the Druids of the 21st century, it's we're trying to take what was previous to us and we're going in a chaos magic-y or whatever word you want to use way and do what you want. But if you're pretending that you're historically accurate, you probably should make an effort to be as historically accurate as you could be. To
try and stay up with history, yeah.
But I suppose the other thing is saying that, well, if this is a couple of rounds you've gone through this, because, well, we were first told that runes, say, for instance, weren't dominant magics, and so we took that out. Then 10 years later, there was evidence, oh no, that definitely was magic done with the runes, so we put it back in. And then 10 years later, went, no, lads, there was. So just it's like, So
No.
yeah, I can
What are you
I can
supposed to
see
do?
why it's so annoying. I can see why people do why they do. I can see. I don't. It's one of those things where it's like I don't think there's a solution. You know, that's good to.
No, I don't think that there probably
Yeah.
isn't a solution. But like as well, like there's so many different kind of points or lines that people are willing to cross and not cross. Like for example, the chief of that order that I'm involved with now, like he's obsessed with Nordic stuff. And
Right.
that grinds my gears. It really annoys me, the Nordic stuff, because it's like the Nordic stuff is so much younger than the Celtic stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, like the Nordic stuff, like obviously it's so much younger, and it's like, okay, well, why are you bothering with Odin when you can go to Dagda, or why? There's no reason. If you're a Celtic Druid order, the North and the Scandinavians have nothing to do with it. So then you're not a Celtic Druidic order.
So
you're
what's his
hodgepodge.
or the syncretism? What's his response? Sure. Sure.
Sure, I like it.
Yeah.
But sure, there's even bits of Native American journeying and spirit animals and stuff.
And
It's just like,
is it
it's
kind of a
bollocks.
suggestion that beneath all of these things is a foundational ethos?
Yeah,
and that's what they're really.
They
It's not
think
Druids.
that, but, like,
it's the original religion or something.
Yeah. I think what annoys them is that, like, you know, I'll put stuff like, no, lads, look, in Ireland, like, this is the way it was done. And they don't seem to like that. Because I don't know. Look, a lot of them seem like nice people and stuff, but it's just a hodgepodge of a mess. And it's not. I think I'm done. I'm going to finish the course tomorrow, and that's it.
Do you think is it symptomatic of Facebook rather than Druidic orders, or is it a good kind of snapshot of what's going on in the Druidic?
Oh, it's a
tradition at
good
the minute?
snapshot, because there was another Danu thing happened at the weekend. Someone posted up on it about it, and I just left a comment saying what I'd said last week to you, like, and she wrote back straight, "Oh God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put it up like that." I said, "No, leave it up, because the more people who know it, the better." And then she says, "Yeah, if you look at that person's page, she has 740,000 followers, and she should know better." And like, so I looked up the thing again. It's like Celtic Hedge Witch or Celtic Witch or something like that, and she has this massive following. And I went onto the post, and just all these people just like are trying to outlarp each other with their worship for Danu. I was like, do none of yous care that it's wrong? Or like, no, not that it's wrong. Not that it's wrong. What I mean is that, like, look, I think me and you were similar in that, like, we were growing up and we were going to church, and instead of just sponging it all in, we were kind of saying, really? A virgin? Like, I'm going to look that up. Do you know? But like, it just seems that, and what's really kind of works against my brain is that, okay, so there's a lot of people out there looking for spiritual meaning, and they find themselves on this, looking into their ancestry and their history, and, oh my God, I'm 50% Irish, I'll have a look at the Irish gods. And then they just look up one or two pages and go, Danu, yeah, I'm going with that. Instead of going, like, why don't you go just, if you just go a little bit further, just, you know, just cut the onion just a little bit, you know, just see how many layers of skin are there, and see to when it falls apart. And
I suppose the argument can be made then for milk for babes, meat for men, and all that too. I suppose.
Plus, also, Tommie, I mean, who the fuck am I? I'm a
but I
nobody.
mean, yeah, I understand that, and I think people know that. I don't. It's not like you're saying it from a speaking as a Druidic level 10.
Of course not.
Speaking as a parent, I understand it, and it's like I suppose as well with the chaos magic kind of thing that. I don't know that I'm situated in most of the time, not all the time though. I don't go. Some days I don't, certainly don't. But I think go Danu, you know, but own it what you're doing. That's the difference. It's not like that's. It's like Alan Moore and a snake god. He knows it's a fake god, and that's fine. You know, like, and that's part of what he's doing, to see, does it matter if I worship a fake god or not? So he's owning it, and for him it works out fine. But I understand. I think there definitely needs to be people in the world like yourself, Spud. I think that's definitely a thing that's very much lacking in magic, spirituality, New Age, etc. But there's a huge part of me that also goes, let people do whatever they fucking want to, you know.
No, I know.
Which but only works if there's people like you in the world. Because letting people do what they fucking want doesn't always end up in a great place either, you know. And it doesn't, definitely not. But I think you can't find the gold unless you go through the shit, all that kind of stuff. You know, you have to like if you go on.
I'll often catch myself just going like, Spud, what the fuck? Why are you taking this so seriously? You know.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: why are you taking it so seriously? Because it's.
I don't know.
Yeah, but like, I'll come. Can we come back to this later? Because I reckon I can tie it into something that we're going to talk about later.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'll remind you.
Just that particular question: why would you take it so seriously? We never got to talk. Oh God.
Talk among yourselves. I'm going to get a pen.
All the bad luck. Going, I'll tell you, the last couple of weeks have been just a nightmare with things just breaking or not working. And last week in particular, like we got on, everything was working, and we were going, oh, I don't like this, I don't like this, and then my internet went off. So did you find the pen?
I found a pen.
Nice one. I was just telling people about about last week when we started up the Zoom and everything was working, and we started going, oh no, this is too easy, and then my internet went off. So yeah. So last week as well, we probably should have talked a bit more about the sigil thing than we did, given that we didn't talk about it at all. But I think it probably worked out better in that some people didn't finish until this Sunday, even though
Easter,
yeah. With the 46 days of, I think it actually works out at 47 or something this year. I remember something was very weird about it. Everything is a lie, Spud. Every single thing.
Everything is a lie.
Yeah.
Everything is a lie. Yeah.
So yeah, well, what's your thoughts? How'd it go for you? I suppose is the way to start. Being that it's
So look, because people kept contacting me. I gave up on the third week because it was just getting too weird. You know,
right.
It was just getting too. Just like
you should probably explain people contacting you, like to people, what you mean by that.
Yeah, so I was doing the sigils and whatever, and I was also adding in like the sigils of the archangels to really.
Okay,
go for
man.
it,
Right. Okay.
you know?
And how exactly? Like, what did that look like actually, practically? Like into the sigils, or just having to be beside
Okay,
it?
so say for example, who was I think Uriel's is like three sides of a square.
Okay.
And then two lines on the lines that go up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's way more complicated than that. But in every one I would do on a Monday, he would outline it. You know what I mean?
Oh, very cool.
And then the rest of the sigil will be inside it. And so
like the classic kind of Solomonic seal, I suppose, has the circle. So you would use the angel thing around it instead.
Yeah, exactly, exactly that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, look, like not all of them were for lofty spiritual stuff. Okay, so there's no time date on it. It's not like, oh, I want a new bandsaw, or I want a new pair of glasses, or I want this, I want that. There was nothing like that. It was all kind of stuff that for this journey of consciousness, spirituality that I'm doing, kind of stuff. And the meditation's been going well and all that, but that was going well anyway. Do you know? So maybe it helped, maybe it didn't help. I don't know. Maybe I'll know in 6 months' time or whatever. But there was this side effect happening every fucking weekend that people who had been out of my life for years would just contact me just out of nowhere, and it was just getting to the stage where like this is too weird. This is just too weird. I'm going to stop doing these for a while to see if it stops. All right? Yeah. It hasn't stopped. People are still.
You started a monster.
Honest to God, there was one fella I haven't spoken to, and I went through it like, it's like, there's no way we've spoken in 11 years. It has to be 11 years. It has to be. They can't be any less anyway. And next thing, how are you, Spud? Hello. How are you? This is great. Like, on one level, it's brilliant because, you get to connect with old people. But on the other level, it's like, this is freaky, man. It's kind of like, are these angels getting me ready to die? Cause
oh, no, yeah. Yeah.
Is this my way of saying goodbye to people?
Oh, no.
So I'm not doing this anymore. And all the angels are up there going, Spud's such an idiot. Yeah.
And then you meet a new friend that goes, yeah, I'm an undertaker. Yeah, what? Yeah, I'm a solicitor. I deal mostly in putting people's wills together. No reason. I'm just here.
No, all the signs are taken.
Have you thought about life insurance? Or life insurance? No reason.
So, yeah, so I stopped after the third week because of that. But I am at this. I'm way more convinced about Sigils now than I ever was before. Because before, remember we were saying when the challenge started, I'd always seen them as a Hail Mary. It's
Yeah.
You know, you're 4th and 9th, 12th down, 7 men are. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Just
12 of them are angry.
Men.
One of them wants to make sure the man is innocent.
Your man is there. What's the guy who never grows old? Tom Petty. He's dead. Tom Brady, the Giselle's husband, isn't that it? And
sure.
He's just like, he's 77 on a Zimmer frame and he's still fucking throwing deflated footballs, whatever he does.
Pigskin.
And pigskin. And he's, yeah. And it's your last chance. So that's the way I had always seen Sigils, like, oh God, yeah, I'd love a Ferrari. I'd put it down here. Ferrari for Spud. Never going to happen. And then you just, obviously masturbate like
obviously.
Obviously, what is he going to do? You know what I mean? Like, you can't have sex magic with your wife because you have to tell her, and that's weird.
Crowley might disagree with that notion.
Yeah, but then that's non-consensual sex magic, man. I'm not down with that shit,
Oh, you've disagreed with St. Crowley, some sort of maybe not a perfect person, has maybe issues with his morals or something.
So anyway, I still don't have the Ferrari.
My wife thinks I'm weird. Won't have sex with me at all.
But so how did it go for you, Tommy?
Well, now I'm dying, obviously. It didn't go well for me at all, to be quite honest. But that's kind of. You see, I'm trying to be as incredulous about the whole thing as possible, in that a lot of my things were the same as yours, in that you kind of, how do you know if it happened? And it's one of the things I always kind of say to people, don't do magic where you're not really sure if it'll, what the outcome is. So I went ahead and did the exact opposite of what advice I give to people. Because it's like, you should say, I want more money, and then, you get fined 50 cents on the ground. Is that a magic? It's or is that just something that happened? But the ones that I definitely did have a target for, none of them came true. To the point that didn't happen. And one of them, the strange one, I did put one of them was down as that my Cintiq would arrive safely, which it did, but then I scraped it almost immediately upon opening it up. So that felt, well, in one sense it felt connected. Another way you could kind of go, that's just unfortunate. But the kind of feeling around it felt, I don't know what the word is. Poignant is not the word. But it felt connected, energized. Something there was something in a kind of a spiteful kind of sense of fuck you, that you got your thing, but here's
dude. I know. I joke around with you a lot, and sometimes on the Discord as well. I just like big caps, like there are no coincidences. Coincidence. There are no coincidences, and I'm fairly sure I believe that now. Or do you still think there's coincidences?
Yeah, no, I do. No, I do. That's the most Irish thing anyone could ever say. Yeah, no, yeah, true. No, yeah. In that, well, if we're going to go with the synchronicity thing, right, which is what mostly what we're talking about when we're talking about coincidences, Jung himself would say that there is such thing as coincidences, that the only thing that is of interest is the synchronicity, where it's a personally meaningful coincidence, so that you could go, Jim, haven't thought about him in ages, and he rings. You go, Jim was just thinking about you, and you don't give a shit. It's just yeah. And another time, but that's so. Now, Jung, my reading of Jung would suggest that's just coincidence. That's just something where two things concurred. Whereas his whole synchronicity thing, it's pointing to a causal relationship between things that causes things, in that it's something occurs at exactly the right time that aren't related for you. And so when that happens, and it's personally meaningful, blah, 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 that has to be a thing. But I also think a lot of these things, I think you can overlook them. And definitely we have a habit of doing that in as a community, that you can see it where, and I've done it myself, so I mean, it's not like I'm pointing fingers here without pointing them back at myself, that you can kind of go, you're really wanting that to be, or
Yeah.
sync, or there's like. But then the argument could be made, but it does feel personally meaningful. Yeah, but are you making the meaning in this? So I don't know where the. I suppose it's just that kind of sense of not wanting to be gullible in it, and not kind of wanting to just kind of think that every single interaction you have is a direct, word from God. Although you're meant to, of course, when you get to a certain stage.
aren't you meant to think everything is from the divine or something? I've been trying to do the Magia underworld thing.
Right, how's that?
And I don't think I understand it.
Okay. I'm not sure I do, but maybe I might have a
So you start the meditation with like, how much effort does it take for time to go past? And
yeah.
Well, none.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you find the time of your birth?
You're missing a bit though. You're missing a bit straight away already. Missing? So rest easy in that thing. That's the first part of the practice, is realizing that you've no effort to make. Part one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is another. There is another.
There is another bit. Okay.
Yeah.
But okay. So there's nothing. Yeah. Time will pass. I have nothing to do with it, basically.
And notice that.
And be cool, man. Be cool.
Yeah. No, but it's and notice that. That's it's noticing that. Yeah.
That's fine. And then the next bit is, okay, can you find the apparent time of your birth? No.
Yeah.
Death? No. And right now? No. Okay. Now put the two of them together.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? Like time's not real. Yeah, okay, I know that.
Yeah, but do you know it logically, or can you feel it? Like that, I don't feel it. Like I can know it logically, but it doesn't actually seem it's not my experience of time. And the point of that practice is, as far as I can gather, to experience that time doesn't exist, not to just know it doesn't exist. That makes sense? Yeah,
but like that's impossible, isn't it?
Well, according to people who've done it, they say that they've experienced it. So it's whether you believe these accounts or not.
So us humans that experience everything through linear time are able to not experience linear time.
Well, that's essentially part of awakening too. Like that's what one of the things that you experience it as time not existing.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
Sledgehammer.
That is just complete bullshit.
Well, there you go. But that is, yeah. That you see, not in every kind of.
No, but Tommie, like we all know, time is an illusion. We know that.
Yeah.
Okay, was that my awakening? Like that happened when I was in second year.
But are you experiencing time as an illusion, or you just know it's time? It's an illusion. That's
but if I know it's an illusion, then I am experiencing.
Yeah, but you can also know yourself as God and not experience that. Like, are you experiencing yourself as God, as the one?
Of course.
Right. Well, you are awakened then.
I am all that is man. I know I am.
Well, then perhaps you're awakened. Then I don't experience that, and I don't experience time as an illusion.
All right.
So.
All right then. Carry on. Spud's awake. All right. Okay. No, I don't know. It's just kind of like because all the other meditations that you do with Magia, you're like, you notice something, and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. The beloved's cool. The noting or the fire practice is cool. Okay, I get that. And the underworld, you're just like, yeah, obviously. I'm kind of doing it just like, duh. like what?
It's Alan says that alludes to the fact that it's the least one that people do, and I think he suggested he doesn't like it either. I never got into it at all. I didn't like it. It wasn't something that, and it's the one that you don't have you don't set a timer for, because you just have to wait until this thing happens. And I was going, what? Do I wait 3 weeks until it happens? I've things to do.
Gotta clean the gutters, man. She's gonna fucking eat me. All right, fair enough. Back to your sigils.
Yeah, so the sigils things, it's, I don't know, I'm less kind of convinced by them than I was before it, but I'm kind of less. Well, you see, I used to always have a kind of a thing of that I worked out because I kept really good records at one point. I was a proper magician wizard who had I've about 12 diaries there that I just filled in every day of everything every day.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So I had worked out that it's about 60%, 6 out of 10 I would hit, no matter what I was doing, sigils, visualization, blah, 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 blah. when it definitely dropped. I've said this a million times. Definitely dropped the more I want something, and it would go up if I didn't give a shit. You know, it would become nearly 9 out of 10 of things that I don't care about. You know, but that dropped with this. I would say again with the caveat that there's a lot of it. How do I know if it worked or not? Same as you. Like I had those things in it about awakening, happiness. You know, I don't know, whatever. Bigger kind of goals that you couldn't actually probably point at. You know, but
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it was definitely something I enjoyed doing because it made me feel like I was doing magic, you know, and it was, rather than just kind of this free flow that you kind of have to, you know, let things go as they want, or you know, who are you to know what's the best for you? So you let Jesus take the wheel, man, whatever. Let St. Paul take the wheel, and then make the next 2,000 years weird. But it's just like it in a sense, if sigils are effective, which they have to be because it works for so many people. So then the question is, why aren't they as effective for me? And it's that thing of that I'm obviously doing the either lust of result or I have a blockage. I can say I want to earn €25,000 a week, but I do a sigil. That in theory should work. So what is the agency that's not working? Is that, well, you're not you're not getting the opportunities, you're not allowing yourself, you're blocking yourself, or you're just not there, or whatever it is. So, but it comes down to then it's you. You know, so I may have a block in certain areas, but it's also if the chances of the things I want being lower, then kind of what's the point? You know, if I can't get the things I want with them, why would I do them? Neil Donald Walsh. Conversations with God guy. He says once that you can have anything. Well, I can't remember. I have to paraphrase. You can't have anything you want, in this, because what you're getting is the want of the thing. So if you have a kind of a sense of I want €25,000 a week, but you're essentially perpetuating the want of that. So that's why sometimes he wouldn't suggest this, but why it's easier or better to sigil for the target that you would have only if you get the 25,000 a week, like the bottle of champagne or whatever it is, rather than the actual thing, because it kind of, in a sense, it's meant to negate the whole lust for a result or the one thing, whatever. So I'd say I just have a problem with lust or result and want, or Gordon White talks about, he says, is it a walled city? Like Alan Chapman says in Advanced Magic for Beginners, is this a thing that can actually happen? You know, because are you trying to attack, a desire of something that isn't, possible to happen? And possibly
there's Ferraris doing donuts in my head now, man.
No, but like say, I don't know, you wanted to repair a relationship with your ex-boyfriend, whatever it is, and you're going, is that actually possible? And even if it is possible, it's probably the worst thing for you, but you're
I treated him so badly, that bridge is burned.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, say you kind of go, well, why is my magic working? Because, well, you're hitting a thing that you should probably leave alone, and your magic should be, how do I recover my sense of self out of a relationship, So maybe my things are I have a kind of an skewed thing. The final one is, I have most of the things I want, you know what I mean? And kind of... There's no big hole in my life that isn't unfulfilled, if you want to. And like, obviously everything could be better, and everyone's relationships could improve, or everyone's money financial situation could improve, or I could be much more creative, and all of these things. But in general, like, there's like, if I want a book, I could do a sigil for it, or I could buy it, and I get it in 3 days off Amazon. Whereas you've 3 weeks possibly with with the sigil thing. So it's just it's more kind of That's my thoughts. I'm glad I did it, and I suspect that a lot of the stuff, it's once I forget about it that it might trickle in. Again.
I think that the thing that kind of opened my eyes the most, or the best thing for me about it was the concentrating on a different element for the days of the week.
Yeah.
So you had earth, wind, fire, water, heart, Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, yeah.
In that order, And I thought that was a cool way of doing things, because there's this weird thing in magic that a lot of people talk about these 4 elements, but like when you go looking for like something specific, like, I want a book about the 4 elemental things in magic or chaos magic. There's like 2 books.
Yeah. Because when I was starting it, I was going like, I must have some books about this, and I was looking, not mentioning anything. Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah. Because
It is
definitely,
crazy, yeah.
I thought it would have been in like the more Wiccan type stuff, and I have that the Witch's Bible, whatever that big the Witch's Bible, Janet Farrar, and like that is literally has all the stuff, and I thought, yeah, not really anything in it. Like, and I was going like, maybe it's just not something
Bizarre.
It's definitely used in magic because I mean it's even in the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. I mean the elements are there, you know. I know.
Maybe it's just one of those things that was made up, you know. Maybe it's one of those things that was made up.
It's made up by those dodgy ancient Greeks before Plato ruined the world and our stuff.
Parmiham. Parmenum. Yeah. Yeah, it's. I don't know if we should do them for 40 days again, though, Tommy. That's quite a stretch.
Yeah, I think the next challenge we do, I think we should like maybe do it for 3 days, a weekend, a long weekend of
it's a big commitment.
Yeah,
40 days a thing.
Let's do the hexagram ritual for just once. See how we go.
Just once, yeah, once enough, once. Yeah, God Almighty, it takes 3 hours to do it. Running around, you're fucking trying to kick everyone out of the room. Why do you want everyone to leave the room? Because I have to do a thing for Tommie. What? Just don't ask, will you? Just you know how it is. Yeah, good crack though. No, look, I the side benefit was bizarre, so that's why I stopped. But like, I think the other stuff is on the right track, and it helps anyway because it just kind of maybe solidifies it a little bit more in your head that these are the goals that you're actually after.
That's it. I think that's very important because that when you start the lessons of the BOTA, which is the Paul Foster-Kate stuff, the very first thing is called 7 steps, but the very first one is you have to decide what do you want. And I remember that as going like, I have no idea. I don't know. You know, I don't know what the answer to that question is. You know, like, but it's like, so even sitting down and go, is there 40 things that I want? And it turns out, no, there isn't remotely. How many of us then turn to situations like world peace and feed the kids? And you know, I didn't. I have to be honest. But is that tending to the potted garden you can reach or not? There you go. That's my answer. That's my shitty answer to that.
Which one of you fuckers out there got Putin to put his troops on Ukraine? Because I don't like that.
Which one is the boat in the Suez Canal?
The Suez Canal one. And then eventually, after whatever, 2 weeks or something, reading an article about the cows, all the cows and livestock that are going to die, and then, oh, bollocks, having to do another sigil to fucking fix the canal. Oh no, the poor cows. The livestock thing is mad because, like, there's a famine going on in Yemen. Yemen's not that far from Suez. Yeah. And did they feed the Yemeni people? No. But that's fucking free animals there, you know? Yeah,
but it's not the whole thing is that we don't have a food shortage, we have a distribution problem. Or an engineered distribution problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You know, like there's so much food that's just wasted and not.
Well, the EU butter meeting that we all heard about at school, this big room full of
butter. Like, I don't understand why that food just isn't, like, okay, you don't have to give it away. If you still want some money coming in for it, just put it as a fucking minus, or put it as a 10 pence or a penny on every pound kind of thing, or something.
But isn't it a thing that, like, I mean, France has changed this recently in that, you know, like, say, your bakery at the end of the day, they just throw out all the food because they legally were meant to, rather than a greed thing, in case homeless people, you know, actually were able to eat or something. I don't know. I think it's more to do with, like, what if they eat it and it's bad and they die and now it's your fault? Yeah, you've been selling buns all day. What if someone eats it and dies and it's your fault? But in France, they've changed it. Or at least I read something about where they've changed it now that everything has to be given away or reused. You can't just dump your food. So that's good. Let's do more of that.
Let's do more of that. Or like at least get it fucking composted or something. You know? Like at least do that. Like I remember years ago, I was stacking shelves in Tesco, like, and they had this massive recycling thing going on back then. This is fucking 20 years ago, something like that. You know, they had these huge things for like everything comes in cardboard boxes. So they had these massive machines for pushing them all down, and like even back then, like there was stuff being done, like, but I don't know, has it not been done enough? Or I don't know. I mean, you try your best at home. You put all you separate all your stuff and squeeze down the bottles and all that stuff. And then like someone comes along and they're like, yeah, that's single use, that's single use, that's single use. Why are we still being given single use plastic?
Yeah.
The hell is going on, like? You know? I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to use up all the oil before it fucking runs out, you know? Isn't it mad to think that like once oil is gone, there'll be no plastic? That's mental.
It's great.
You know?
There's a positive
But
outcome.
it is great. So hurry up and use it. But like, Jesus, what's everything going to be like? Timber laptops. We'll have wooden laptops.
Oh, they can't
full of fans.
because well, they can see the horror stories that are coming out at the minute. The Amazon has now become carbon negative, in that it produces more carbon than it does recycles it, or whatever the word is.
What, are they using all the piss that the drivers keep in their bottles to neutralise it?
No.
Is that what they're doing,
The Amazon forest itself, not the Amazon.
Oh, sorry.
The company. The Amazon, the company, are definitely not carbon neutral or positive. Yeah, so it's the first time it's switched because of obviously the work that goes on when there's the pollution, because all of these things, it's now become carbon positive. That means it produces more carbon than it reduces.
Uh-oh.
That's great fun, no? That's good.
Uh-oh.
That's not a warning sign of an apocalypse.
Was it last week, 2 weeks ago? I was saying that the Amazon shouldn't be there anyway. It's only there because of the lake that dried up in Africa. Yeah, so we'll be grand with. Look, it wasn't there 1,000 years ago. Yeah. We'll be fine when it's gone. Be grand. Don't worry about it. Just knock it down. Put more. It needs more cows. Put more cows in Brazil. That's what we need.
There's a few in a boat in the Suez Canal. And the Japanese, they had a bloom of their blossoms.
The cherry blossoms. Yeah,
the cherry blossoms.
They're out.
The earliest 1,200 years.
They're early here too. Mine aren't out, but the neighbour has one of his biggest tree. His cherry blossoms are out too, and I was like, Jesus, they're a bit early. And then like 5 minutes later, looking on the internet,
Reddit.
the Japanese are reporting it. I'm like, stop doing that, Spud, will you? Yeah. Jesus Christ, mind bullets. Yeah, there is no time. See.
It's an illusion. We're already burnt to a crisp because of global warming. I know. I'm hopeful. I'm going to be before we go. I am hopeful because we next year the ozone layer, the damage that we did to it is completely gone. So like if we do pull the finger out and actually decide we want to possibly save the planet, we can do it. And there's plenty of options to do it. Read John Higgs' book and he'll tell you all the options you have of doing it. It's just we don't want to do it. But we could decide that we want to do it at any moment. At any moment. The future is in our hands, bud. Not particularly our hands, because don't give the future to us, for God's sake, us Egypts. You get a sledgehammer, you get a sledgehammer.
Don't know. What would I do if I was king of the world? I'd make everyone... No, I wouldn't make everyone, but I'd make sure that all schools had the option of music lessons. So I would.
Yeah.
Because mine didn't, and that fucking sucked.
Yeah, I didn't either, and definitely... could have done with that. I would have enjoyed that.
You ever see these like foodie travel programs with New Orleans? They always New Orleans. Yeah. I don't know, isn't that how to say it? And
New Orleans.
They all meet these like brass band people, and they just look like they're in the school, and it's like, your school was awesome. Look how much fun you're having, Yeah. Whereas like I was better around with T-squares because I had to do graphic drawing.
Yeah, but you know what an oxbow lake is, and meandering rivers, and leashes. So I mean, it's a balance. It's just a balance.
It's a balance, a total balance. Yeah. I was able to draw the Suzuki logo after what's his name? I don't remember his name. Dom. Bet me around asunder with a fucking T-square and the top part of it on the head, like Murphy. Fucking hell! Why am I doing this? I don't want to be an architect.
Are you revealing a transmission scene here of where Sledgehammer or Spud originated from?
My old TG fucking teacher. Yeah. Anyway, so the why Spud cares thing, is that connected with Zappa? We get into that, will we?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. We'll come back to it. Not immediately.
Frank Zappa.
The new documentary, it's just called Zappa. I suppose strictly it's not woo, but music is woo. So there you go. There's your connection. There's your tenuous connection to why we can talk about it. But I also think that if we can talk about Bill Drummond, we could. Well, you see, Bill Drummond's more woo than Frank. Well, there is, I suppose, the woo element where people. It's not in this documentary remotely. So, but that his parents were tied up in the CIA, and that he was part of the deliberately engineered counterculture and put in place by the man. And there's a whole theory.
Why is that not in the documentary? That should totally have been in the documentary.
Yeah.
Damn it.
you could definitely look that up on
Isn't it funny he was saying? It's funny he was saying it like, "Oh, we were poor." He says in it, but it's like, hold on now, your dad had an army job. Why are you poor? What were you poor? I don't think he was poor.
Well, I mean, poor, I suppose, is relevant. What's the word? Yeah, relevant, isn't it? To
I don't know if it is, Tommy. I think there is a definition.
Well, there is, yeah. Can you eat? Yeah, no, you're poor. Yeah. Well, I see. Here's the thing. I have friends who earn loads of money and don't seem to ever have any money, and I have friends who have no money and seem to be grand. So I don't like. I don't. Without going up to people, go, what do you do with your money? What are you actually doing with it? You know, because I know you earn at least 3 times more than I do, and you know, I have more fun than you do. I don't know. I don't understand it. Obviously, I think these people are just waiting to die or something to have a great 3 years before they die. Those wonderful years between 65 and 68 where all the fun, we are at your highest level of fitness, both emotionally, mentally, and physically. Yeah.
You'll totally be able for the stairs in Machu Picchu at 68 years old. Yeah. Absolutely, you'll be fine. Yeah. And the 12-hour, 14-hour flight to get there.
It's literally
the 3-hour flight to get there after the next flight. Yeah, you'll be fine. You're grand. You're not old. You're not old. It's just a number. Age is just a number. That's all it is. Just a number.
Literally, the guy who owned the coal mine worked there. The 65 was the age that you could be before you were useless, and then the next year you died. So.
Human sacrifice, gift to the gods.
Yeah,
that's what you'll be.
Yeah. So my pension plan is to die horribly of depression before I'm 65. Yeah, I'd be laughing now and I become 65. But could have put some money away, couldn't I? Could have done that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
here my outfit has gone like that. My outfit's gone. I have to talk to him now, and he's kind of like he's a bit shocked that he's like, "Fucking hell, I got the pension the other day." And yeah, well, you knew that was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's kind of like, geez, I really crept up on you. And, you know, and you can see it on his face. He's like, fuck, I got old. What the fuck? How did that happen?
I was suggested a book by Audible the other day, and it was How to Find Meaning in the Second Half of Your Life. And I was going, fuck off. And I went, oh, shit.
Shit.
Shit. That book is for me.
Fuck you, Bezos.
And your accurate book recommendations.
Fucking Lex Luthor, fucking head on him.
Anyway, Frank Zappa. So this documentary, despite what it says on the internet, where it was the biggest Kickstarter of all time, is not the biggest Kickstarter of all time, because the actual Kickstarter was to, you know, the library has, or the vaults of everything he's ever recorded. So the Kickstarter was to keep that in you know, preserve that and to sort it out and to pay people to see what was in it and all that. But so then the documentary makers, who is actually Bill Preston Esquire from Bill and Ted, is the guy who directed
No
this.
way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He was the only person that's ever been allowed access to this, so he had full range of using any of the stuff from these archives. And you see it in the thing, like it's a huge room full of like, there's like even like Eric Clapton came down one night and here's an album we recorded that we never released, you know, that night, just there, and it just is on Eric Clapton one night at the house. That's what it was, something like that. What I knew about Frank Zappa before this was that he was an unbelievable musician, kind of in the same kind of vein, I suppose, of someone like Prince, who could play many instruments, was a composer, was a, you know, had bands around him that he kind of was, in a sense, dictatorial around, you know, kind of a perfectionist. I did know that there wasn't the drug element, which is the thing people associate with Frank Zappa, is this kind of, you know, hippie drug thing. Anyway, he's very anti-drugs, or at least, well, no, I believe him when he says it, because like, what's the? But there's not one scene in the movie where he's not smoking, though, you know, at all. And then the other connection I knew was through Steve Vai, that Steve Vai had transcribed some stuff from when he was 18 and joined his band at 20, and had a nervous breakdown joining Frank Zappa's band because he was so nervous and anxious. But that's also not in the documentary. No, I mean, it's like there's plenty of people in his band talking about different things, and I suppose Steve Vai's connection to Frank Zappa, in my head, is much bigger than it is relevant to the Frank Zappa story, because he's only there for 2 years, you know. But it's Steve Vai.
Yeah, it's only 2 years. Yeah,
you know, and you just can't. But he's in it a couple of times, and he's interviewed, and yeah. What would you didn't know Frank Zappa at all. And I know one album, Overnight Sensation. That's it. And because we used to play that on the van.
I thought Captain Beefheart was Frank Zappa.
Right. Until he turns up in the documentary as a different guy.
There's Captain Beefheart. Are they not the same person? Wait, so what is the connection? Beefheart sang on a Zappa album?
Well, there's similar, I suppose, type music and that kind of weird kind of thing. I don't really know much Captain Beefheart other than mutual friend Abin goes on about him. But that's it. So Beefheart's like a whole other band. It's not nothing to do with Zappa. No. Really? Yeah.
Now look, growing up, like you buy Guitar World or Guitar Hero. Is it Guitar Hero? What's the other magazine? Guitar World, whatever.
Guitarist.
And you see them, the guitarist. Yeah, that was the toughest one.
Yeah,
and
that was the proper one. That was the one from
the hard one. Yeah.
No free CD with that one.
Fucking hell, Jesus Christ! How am I supposed to learn this song if I don't even know what it sounds like? Read the music. What?
What? No one taught me that. If only there were classes at my school what teach me how to read music.
This is why I had no classes at school. Yeah. Nah, look, you know the name, but like, I mean, I suppose I thought that music was kind of a jazzy prog rock, I suppose, was what I thought it was going into it. Yeah. And I mean, you know, I like the odd bit of prog. I mean, I like Pink Floyd, and who else is there? Even you know, even a bit of like King Crimson and all that stuff. Right, it's bonkers, but like, it's kind of fun. Dream Theater, I used to like them too. They're still going, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And
For sure.
Who else is prog?
Who was
Genesis aren't prog, are they?
Operation Mindcrime. What were they called? That band.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, them. They were.
But anyway, look, I mean, I don't mind it, but then, you know, at the same time, it's like, like punk rock came along, or punk came along to kill prog rock, okay? Yeah. But like at the same time, like okay, like I love the Sex Pistols, but I also like Pink Floyd. I mean, like I can like both, but Zappa never. Sure. I don't know, for some reason Zappa never just kind of. I know who he was, but I hadn't really listened to him. You know?
I think it's a case of, well, I've only met one person in my life who was into Frank Zappa, and he's like had all 62 albums or whatever it is, and he had, you know, on vinyl and the whole thing, and he had one tape which was Overnight Sensation, and he gave it to me, and so that's how I know Overnight Sensation. And when you're in a previous existence to Spotify and the internet, if you don't know someone with a Frank Zappa album, you're not hearing a Frank Zappa album. It's not in your record shop. You know, it's not in CD World in the shopping centre. So and you know, that's not like it. Also, he got played a couple of times on like Noisy Mothers or whatever was the late night UTV metal show on a Friday night back in the day, but it was the only way you could get to see any guitar music in telly. Yeah. So I heard that song Montana, which is a great song. It's so funny. So it's kind of vague things, but it's I don't think I can't imagine he was that popular in Ireland just because how would you know him? You know, like how would you be exposed to something like that? There's definitely someone's cool dad who was into Frank Zappa, you know, but not my class where we didn't learn music. Zeppelin, I suppose there was a lot of people into Zeppelin, and because that was kind of, I suppose, as cool as our dads ever got in that generation, like or Sabbath or something like that. But he's an interesting guy in that he's definitely, how do I say this? They don't pull any punches in that he was a bit of a dick to people, you know, and it's not kind of. I don't know, it's just kind of, you know, he was tough, but they all end up crying how much they love him too. So, I mean, there's definitely more to it than, you know, because there's...
treat them mean, keep them keen. You know?
Yeah, but I suppose there was this, while he was so hard on them, and you hear the same stories about Prince, you know, and a different kind of, in that kind of situation where, you know, it's the rehearsing 11 hours a day. He's like, if you miss one note, there was like, you know, the glare, or, you know, you hear about stories like Nine Inch Nails were trying to Razor throws keyboards of drummers for missing beats and stuff like that. Like,
you would shit yourself if Trent Reznor was annoyed at you. You would and same with Zappa. You'd just be like, oh God. But like, could you imagine Prince? You'd be just like, get the fuck away from me, you fucking short arse. What the fuck? Yeah. You played it wrong. Yeah. Shut the fuck up, man.
I think you're forgetting about his music level ability. Intimidation, the card that he can pull out. I'm a level 9 musician.
Yeah, no, I've no time for Prince. I don't like any
do you not like
music.
Prince?
It's just not at all. Just pop, shit.
I like a lot of it. Same.
Yeah.
He's like 60 million songs. You know, an awful lot of them are terrible. Some of them are great. I like them. It's great live. We really got to see him. It was great. But anyway, yeah, the Frank Zappa thing. But he was such a muso and such and that's usually used in a derogatory sense. I mean that in the highest possible sense. Like he knew music inside out. There's a great interview with Rick Beato and Steve Vai talking about a Frank Zappa song called Black something.
Oh, this one comes up in the I wrote it down here.
Yeah.
Where is it? Blah, 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 blah.
Black Page.
Black Page. And the lady plays it in the drummer.
Yeah, so it's like
piano.
It's essentially that there's rhythms with it. It's not polyrhythm, so it's this whole thing of nested sextuplets or whatever. Steve Vai, if you want to know, let him explain it. But it's like saying that, you know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then between them you can have like a triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But then you take that and you take your timing within the triplet. And
right.
so you're way off. And then he does it a third time. So it's nested, and it's just like, because the song is so slow, it just sounds like, but he knows what he's doing. And I suppose an uneducated ear can just go, they're just making up shit. But they're all doing it. But which is my same appreciation of jazz, where you're just going, I don't know if he's hitting the right note or not. I have no idea. They all sound wrong. Every one of them sounds wrong. You can't be hitting so many wrong notes in a row. You know, you'd run out of wrong notes.
My brother told me, see, when we were in a band, he used to play the lead and I played the rhythm and sing, or else I was playing bass, whichever, depended how many of us were in the band at the time. But we were talking one time about why he'd wanted to play. I'd never had any interest in playing lead guitar. Just I always wanted to be the writer or the singer, you know? Not even the singer. Started off, just wanted to be the songwriter. And we were talking one time, it's like I said something, but I don't think I would ever have been good enough to play lead, because I know that if I messed it up, I wouldn't know how to recover quick enough. And he's like, no. There's a Rory Gallagher trick. I was like, okay, what's that? Right, if you make a mistake, you hold the note for a bar, and then people think it's supposed to be theirs.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
It's funny.
Wow.
There's variations in that rule. Dave Navarro's one is you hit a wrong note. You hit you hit it, so you hit a second note, and then go back to the wrong note to make it sound like you meant it. But supposedly it comes from an older jazz dude. It's like, I don't know, whoever, Robbie Coltrane or something, probably. Robbie Coltrane.
I like the Rory Gallagher one. Let's go, Rory.
Yeah. Brute force and ignorance. There you go. Get it in there. So yeah, like they're like proper, really great high level musicianship, but with a huge amount of humour in the songs and just wackiness. And an awful lot of it would be as well. The stage performance seemed to be very kind of part of the whole thing. That that was even choreographed and made to as much part of the show. Even like at the end where he's doing, when it's getting to the end and he's just getting to finally do his orchestral stuff, and it has these insanely well choreographed dancers going on in front of them. And you're just going, how would you even start with that? It's like I didn't come away with it wanting to listen to all 62 Zappa albums or anything like that. And I didn't want to come away thinking, God, I'd really love to read his biography, because or anything like that. But I really enjoyed the documentary. I enjoyed kind of spending the time and the kind of characters around him. His wife seems like she's the mad joke you wouldn't get in the wrong side of. She seems
no, man, she's scary.
Yeah, well able to. You would go, Frank Zappa had a wife. Yeah. You would have to be that kind of, don't fuck with me. It's like, she's having her second kid, and she decided Frank wasn't allowed to have sex with groupies anymore, and then that happened. That's the end of that, Frank.
The interview with the clap was fucking hilarious. He's sitting in a park and he's like, what did he say? Something like, yeah, well, I'm Frank Zappa, I like the fuck. All right. And so yeah, there's groupies around, and you get the clap, and you go home and you tell your wife you have the clap, and you tell her, yeah, it's all right, just go get a prescription. She comes home, penicillin, you take the penicillin. Every now and again she grumbles, but she's my wife. Just brushing off Groupie, oh god, I don't know. The groupies would be tough work. Imagine being 40 and in a band and still groupies hanging. You'd be just like, oh god,
Yeah.
where's my inhaler? Can we just hug?
Yeah. Yeah, can you just give me a back?
Can we just hug? You know, or then then you get like really dark on it and go like Marilyn Manson and make chicks. No, I'm not going down that road.
Don't go. If you start a story with Marilyn Manson, you go. Just don't go there.
I won't go there. Come here. I really liked the way that he shows kind of how his at the start how his music kind of how he found his voice, man.
Yeah.
But how he kind of evolved with where he was in the world. So like he grew up in this kind of military base setting in a small town. School, and he's like, look, small towns are great and all, but for my music, like, you need to be living in a in a big city. Then he moves to LA. There's kind of too many hippies around, and he just says this thing that like the hippies were too conformist for my music, and it's like, well, that's mad because but then like when you think about it, like hippies are really conformist, and so are goths, so are bikers. They all look the same, and hip or hipsters or whatever. They all have this look, this things that they're into, and and he's like, no, so this wasn't working, so he had to break out of this, and then he does this mad thing. He like goes to New York, books a theater for 300 nights. They play this theater for like 3 or 4 hours 5 nights a week, and it's just bonkers, but it's such a fucking it's like the Beatles going to Hamburg. It's such a great idea for bands. Exactly that. And then but by doing these shows, then I think that's when he knew what Zappa was going to sound like. Because he had the crowd interaction, and he had a good unit of, good musicians behind him. But then he could also do the crowd work and stuff as well, and be, how to say it, be a bit more entertaining than just be music.
Yes, know? Where it's a fuller package thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's a mad thing because like there's the saxophone player. I think he was in the band for 3 or 4 years, and he's interviewed quite a lot in it. And it's kind of like I'm same as you. Like, I'm not coming away from this thinking that like, okay, look, you know what? Later on today, I'll put on Zappa on Spotify or whatever he's on YouTube or whatever, and I'll try and find the best of or a playlist.
Put on a overnight sensation.
Okay, I'll put on.
That's the one I know, so I can talk to you about.
Okay, so I'll put that on, and maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. But the thing is that like, you know yourself from being in bands and all, sometimes when you're directed by someone, like you mightn't like the music, but you can kind of see what they're getting at, and you say, yeah. Do so I'd say there was a lot of that going on, because the music is strange. I don't know what it is. It's kind of jazzy. It's not rock and roll. It's not jazz. It's not. I suppose it's maybe a mix between prog and jazz, but like with less of each of them. It's its own thing, really. Yeah,
and it's very serious, but at the same time with ridiculous lyrics. Like or not. That's like not. It's not. He's not writing funny songs. Like it's not really like it's not like I don't know a comedy album or anything. But it's certainly it's I suppose trying to make big points with kind of interesting ways of, like the song Montana is about a guy going to raise a crop of dental floss. It's just such a lovely little wordplay and stuff like that. But there's obviously points to these songs like that he's making. Like I don't know the how vapid capitalism is or something like that. It's not just trying to make you laugh. There's also because that whole section where he goes up against, but makes a big stand about the parental advisory stickers or whatever, when he wasn't even attacked by it, and he's kind of going, well, he kind of calls out the other people who wear like Bruce Springsteen and I can't even remember the other names, and they were saying nothing, they were just going with it, and he was going, well, someone should speak up about this because it's this is how it starts. And you could tell that he'd very strong opinions about, art and music and what should be allowed. What was willing to stand up and and make the kind of have the fight about it or whatever. But he always, from day one, all the interviews are like him already pissed off. You know, just they're going to say something fucking shitty to me. You know, and it's just like immediately on the defensive. And, you know, it's so funny. Like,
don't think he liked journalists a lot.
No.
Which is the right way to be, in fairness.
Sure, yeah, but he comes off a bit sometimes. Like I would say, if you're not watching the Frank Zappa documentary where it's from his side, if it was something else, he just comes off probably very humorless, which he doesn't seem to be humorless.
No, he didn't seem to. Yeah, I like the way that. Well, not that I like the way, but like there was obviously something in him that other talented people at the time were seeing, like they had this thing with Lenny Bruce, which I thought was interesting, because Lenny Bruce is kind of the inventor of stand-up comedy, you know, or what it has become anyway. He's not the inventor of comedy, Jesus Christ, or even comedy in front of a crowd, but he's the first to
but that's sort of observation.
One man with a mic, you know. Yeah. And then there was like, you know, Johnny Mitchell was hanging around with him, and the Beatles.
You see the Ringo Starr coming in as the fake Zappa.
Ringo Starr played him in like this movie or something. It's like, okay, that's mad. George Harrison was there. Eric Clapton, like you mentioned earlier on, like recorded stuff with him in his gaff. And it's mad. Like I wonder who, like, is there anyone around that's like him now that the artists are hanging around with and getting influence from?
Probably like someone like Timberland, or some producer or something like that. Someone who's kind of.
God, isn't that lame, Timberland?
Well, but it's lame only because that's not our generation. You know what I mean? Well, it's probably not that much younger than me, but that it's a different, like, when you look at someone like Frank Zappa, you go, yeah, that's a real rock and roller, but we don't probably understand the music industry the way our parents did.
Maybe Kanye West then was the last.
There you go. That's probably a better example of it. Or Puff Daddy, or some whatever his name is.
Hippity music. Yeah, the Paul McCartney conversation is funny because it's totally Paul McCartney. Like, he's not making that up. Like,
no, that
100% not making that up.
Yeah.
So they put out this album, which was a piss take, not even a piss take of the cover of Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah.
And
which
Frank Zappa.
Paul McCartney admits to other things. They were doing a somewhat homage to Frank Zappa with Sgt. Pepper.
Anyway.
That was influenced by
Yeah, so the Beatles were influenced by Zappa, and then Zappa, tongue in cheekly makes fun of them, and they all know this, and everyone seems to be fine about it. But Zappa had to get the thing, because he was on a label at the time. He had to get his label to make sure that Beatles label, and they sue everyone, wouldn't sue them. And he's on the phone with Paul, and he's like, look, this is taking forever. Can you not just say that it's okay? And Paul's like, we don't talk to lawyers. We don't talk business. We what? We have lawyers for that.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck off, Paul. That's such a Paul thing. Like,
yeah,
Jesus
and it was just
Christ.
like that thing as well. Frank Zappa was such a pioneer in. Then he went, right, I'm setting up my own record company. I'm going to own all my own publishing. I'm not going to fall for all the things that everyone else, falls for. And so that that in the same way that the Beatles kind of were the first people to write their own songs was groundbreaking. Zappa having his own record company, his own publishing company, all of that was equally groundbreaking in that kind of way. That now is taken for granted in so many ways. Although, watch Rick Beato's recent videos, and it seems to be turning in the other direction as well, where Dylan and Paul Simon and are all selling their publishing again for some bizarre reason going on at the minute.
Because they're dying. They'll be dead soon, that's why.
Yeah, but
cashing in, man. Neil Young did it a while ago as well.
Yeah, but like Beato's kind of point is, why now? They're not going to be able to. They're not going to get the benefit out of it in a sense, But anyway,
I presume it's for their wills and making sure their kids get the money. And
I assume there's something out of it. But the kind of notion I think Rick is saying is that no one knows what the future holds, and they might be thinking this is the best it's going to be. Although you would assume that when Bob Dylan dies, that his estate will go up in the way most, I don't know. I know I'm not a music lawyer expert publishing thing.
So you mean like they're selling 100% of it?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I think Dylan's is 25 years. I don't know. It's like the second to last Beato video if people want to look it up anyway. And then he's a ranty one after. He's giving out about a journalist who. It's very funny. I love Rick when he rants. He's just so passionate. Sledgehammer Rick.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad.
So I wanted to, just while we're on the kind of Zappa Steve Vai thing, again, tenuous connections. Well, there's 2 years of his life that Steve Vai is involved with Zappa's. When he
I
was,
suppose Zappa gave him. Well, I don't. Was that his first kind of big break?
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's
okay.
like, and then he went on to Dave Lee Roth, Whitesnake, Alcatraz, blah 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 blah. After that,
So when was he teaching your man in Metallica, Kirk Hammett?
no, Joe Satriani taught Steve Vai and Kirk Hammett.
I'm always mixing them up.
So yeah, Joe taught Steve and Kirk and thousands of other people. Well, I don't know, thousands, but a lot of other people. But so yeah, so Steve Vai started his Patreon there last week, and he's doing what he used to be doing during the lockdown, which is, you know, a guitar kind of tutorial, and then a thing he's calling Underdoll, which is a more kind of, I don't know, spiritual outlook type thing or something. And they're very good, and he's a very interesting man, and he's definitely, he walks the walk. Like he you know, when he had the kind of, what's the word, infatuation he has with his guitar, and how it, you know, he'll sit there for 10 hours a day or whatever it was, 30 hours a day. 30 hours a day. That's Steve Vai's extra hours in the day. That's why he's so good.
Time doesn't exist, Tommie. We
Time doesn't exist,
that.
yeah. But he has
maybe he does the underworld practice.
Yeah, but he has that for his spiritual practice as well. He does, you know, he's if he's going to get into, you know, positive mentalism or whatever, then, you know, he really goes for it. And what seems to have happened from my reading of it is that, so at 18 he's doing transcriptions, black page for Frank Zappa. No one else in the world can do it. He's a prodigy, all this type of thing. Frank asked him to play a song, play it and send him, and Frank, when he hears it, goes, join my band. And Steve Vai goes, I'm 18. And Frank goes, no chance, this is going to ruin you, come back in a few years. You know, he wouldn't let him join. And then he joined at 20, and like literally has talked about, you know, being so nervous he shits on stage, and, you know, like really, like it was such a high, as you can imagine, 20, and you're going into like something like Frank Zappa. But he ends up in a kind of depression out of it anyway, and he leaves. I don't know if he leaves because he's depressed, or he leaves and then gets depressed, whatever it is. But he gets in a kind of a slump, and the whole thing, and he pulls himself out of it by one of the things that it's this book. It's Magic in Your Mind, written by a football player in the 60s, I think. And he also, the same guy, I can't remember his name now, but he also wrote a very famous book called 3 Magic Words, and it's very much in the kind of New Thought mentalists, you know, type thing. You know, your thoughts create, you know,
Neville Goddard,
all this kind of thing.
Okay,
so he obviously just really applied all of these things, and then he in a sense turned his entire life around. Like, I mean, you join Frank Zappa at 20, you know, you're turning your life around. You know, that's relative on exactly what you're doing, but he came out of a slump or whatever. But he's definitely read and continued his thing, and he's talked about like Course in Miracles, which an awful lot of people name check. It seems to be a huge one. Eckhart Tolle, which I really should read. I have his audiobooks, but his voice just annoys me that I can't. I just can't.
Puts me to sleep. I find him so relaxing.
By all accounts, he's amazing and has great. I should probably just read his books rather than trying to. But anyway, so he talks about these things, different things, and there's about 8 or 9 behind it all videos on his YouTube that if people are interested in that. But I essentially think you'd probably have to be into Steve Vai to sit and listen to him for 2 hours, but maybe not. He's things to say. He's had a very unique life and very interesting perspective, and ended up very positive and optimistic, and or at least plays that in the telly. But then his Patreon, anyway, you can never tell with these rock stars.
As soon as the cameras are off, man. It's just like,
yeah, fuck's sake.
I wonder did they believe me? And then his Patreon just goes ching 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 ching.
Just injecting heroin. I'll just tell them I don't take drugs. I don't take. So he starts his Patreon, and I joined up because, I mean, if you're not going to join, you know, Steve Vai's Patreon, you know, what's wrong with you? As me, as Tommy Kelly, I mean, like if Tommy doesn't, like it seems like the perfect Patreon person to, you know, send $5 to plus VAT, you bastards, every month. So he did his thing, the guitar, and then he had I sent you the screenshot of him doing this Underdoll spiritual where he's sitting beside the fire in the armchair, and it's just brilliant, it's perfect. But what I want to talk about, what's coming back to what you were talking about, your thing earlier on, and you're saying, why do I have this need? So the whole of his last talk was essentially him describing true will without necessarily him ever hearing that expression. Although I assume, being Steve I, that he
definitely knows Crowley.
Yeah. But he talks about it in functions, and this mightn't be his idea, but it's the first time I've come across. And he goes, "You think so?" He says, "I think it's pretty obvious that my function in life is to be a musician, and that's how I'm coming." He says, "But that's my secondary function, because the first function is the same. We all have it, and it's exactly the same for everyone. And that your second function is how you do the first function. So the first function is that you have to take from wherever into this world and make it kind of heal it in your surrounding, in your family. It's like kind of the thing, break the habitual habits and the rules that have come through your family, break all of these things, become, tend to the part of the garden that you reach. All my words, not his words, but this kind of thing. The
Native American thing of leave the world in a better place than you found it, yeah?
You're here as the gods to evolve this place, to make it a better place. And that's function number one, always. So if you need to know what is the best situation or thing to do in this situation, what is the kindest thing to do? Including to yourself. It's not giving away all that to other people. It's not becoming a victim, or not a victim, but not a doormat, or whatever that expression is. And then you will have a secondary function, which is in his thing. He says, "I'm lucky; it's very defined. I'm music scene that, so I can do all this
talent,
or your talent, or your calling, but it's secondary to the first thing we all have." So I was going, there you go. That's brilliant, because when we talked about before, where Marco's mentioned that do as thou wilt, and it's not you, it's talking about in the sense God or the universe or whatever kind of word we want to put on it. So that's definitely relates to function one, and then you can have a function two, which is kind of how you go about that. And I got brilliant. I'm totally on board with that. That explains a lot for me. So that's so you're saying, well, why do I have a need to do this? Because that's part of your function one.
Yeah, sledgehammer Spud.
Sledgehammer Spud. It's about that's kind of where I feel at the minute. So I don't know if it's necessarily true, say, but it would definitely fit into why am I doing this? Because I have a need, not necessarily to fix the world, because that sounds like you're imposing on the world, but this is something that I can do. I can tend to this. I can. So I find that. I think
you know what it is. Then to come back to it, then I think it's I'm finding it tough to find kind of my own balance of where to be on it. In that, don't shout people down.
Yeah.
Because that's not cool. That's being a dick.
Yeah.
But if you can gauge that you think people are maybe opening to knowing a bit more about it, then saying, "Oh, come into my cult and I'll give you I'll charge you $20 a month on Patreon. Join my Patreon." No, but maybe it's just I'm finding that balance of where that is.
Well, I suppose then the question you can ask yourself for is, what is the kindest way to say to wield a sledgehammer or whatever it is you're trying to do? What can I do it? Because I noticed something I did, and it's something I changed and it's improved certain kind of interaction with people. Is, say you put up a post and go, "All the balloons are red in my house," whatever it is, and then invariably you will get a comment go, "What colour are the balloons in your house?" I'll say that again. "What colour are the balloons in your house?" And you could go, your response could be, "As I fucking said in my original comment, they are red," or whatever it is. But instead you just go, "Yeah, they're red, man."
Right.
Everyone's happy. You don't be a dick. You don't have to be a dick. He walks away going, "Oh, I got my question answered," whatever. And it's not that kind of a. So it's like that thing. It's like when people ask, "How do you answer the same question over and over again with certain things?" It's because I'm just not going to be a dick about it, because you could make a point and then I end up feeling shitty. That person walks away feeling shitty. No one has a good day, and who won? No one. Right? Oh, glad I made that point. That I'm a dickhead. I really showed them who's the dickhead in this situation, didn't I? Whoa.
I get the dickhead cup tonight.
Woohoo! Victory! Good day's work done there, lads. I've a dickhead a number of times on the internet, and people recognise.
Was I the biggest dickhead in my county or in my country today?
Yeah.
I wonder. Maybe I get the provincial title.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You get the jersey, King of the Hill, King of the Dickheads.
That's a great point. I like that. Thanks, Tommy. You're fixing Spud.
Yeah, fixing Spud. Sledgehammer slowly gets kind of turned into like a rubber mallet for a while. Then it's just candy floss by now. You're just giving sweets to people.
Eventually be a rubber chicken. No, that's good. That's interesting. I really like the Steve Vai thing though. That's a great way of.
Yeah, I wonder
Because
if it's an error, a Toll or Tolly, whatever. I wonder if he's taken from someone else or whether that's just what he's come. I haven't heard it described like that before. So.
I wonder because the Crowleyites and all that they don't that doesn't seem to come out from many of them. I know you said Marco.
Yeah.
There talks about, but a lot of them it's just like, it's kind of like the way I see it is that it's taught as something that like, well, if you want to be Quentin Tarantino, you can. That's your true way.
Yeah.
Do you know? Whereas that like, I don't know, man. Maybe like just to be sound.
And there is that one that's always thrown at Telemites, and to be fair, it is fair in a lot of cases, is that it's a license to be a dick. I'm just a true will man, which is to not give shit about other people and just go hell or full blast into whatever my selfish wants and needs are. Now, not all Telemites. I have.
No, of course.
But enough internet Telemites that can be an accurate kind of portrayal. Like it's a cliche of Telemites for a reason. It's like, but that's equally true of chaos magicians. And,
most fucking chaos magicians. Yeah.
So it's not let's not single them out. But it's an interesting that true will thing. It's a very interesting kind of idea because we kind of have the notion, or we want it to be, that we get to decide what we do, and I think that's tied up with an awful lot with like kind of following the American dream, and if you work hard enough, you can get whatever you want, and if you're not successful, it's your own fault because you didn't try hard enough, and it seems to just not realise the complexity of human nature, of society, of life, of luck, of chance, location.
It seems to be that people have this idea that everything has to be a lofty goal,
Yeah.
And it mightn't be that. It could just be like, well, no, maybe you're just supposed to be humble.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that's something that's coming up for me an awful lot more recently. Is seeing this kind of quest that I'm forcing myself on into be. Well, you have to be better. You have to do. It's like, and people, sometimes send me emails. Go, oh, you should do this because you'll make loads of money. And I'm kind of going, I don't want to do that. I don't have a kind of a thing where I want to be the richest man in the world or whatever. I can see an awful lot of problems that go with that. Like, I mean, give me all the money if you want. Like,
you'd be awful with money, Tommy. You'd be fucking terrible with money. You would. You'd waste it.
I'd waste it on books and stuff. But it's like, but there's a demand in a sense that you have to go the whole way with everything. You have to be the king, or it's it's not. You're not trying, or you're lazy, or why aren't you the greatest journalist, writer, whatever in the world? Because I'm happy working for the local paper, right? That's it's what I want from my life.
I don't have to be. I'm Stephen King. I'm fine.
Or whatever. No. What I mean, you as in general, you, or whatever. And it's just, but we seem to have this need of, which obviously wasn't around 100, 200 years ago. Pre-Enlightenment anyway, in that, because it was already told, you're the eldest son, you get the farm, you're the next guy, you get whatever, last guy, you're the priest. Whatever. And that's the way that was it. That was your function. There was no question of, well, I don't want to be a priest, I want to be an artist. Well, you're not. But I assume it just didn't end.
It can't be. The middle child is the fucked up one. The middle child gets to be the artist. That's the way it works.
That's it. That's the rules. But I suppose in a sense then you have the bad things, like you have the caste system in India, which is a reflection of that as well, which is awful. And it always gets to a point in these where I go, yeah, no matter what way you look, it's all a bit shit, isn't it? But it's kind of argue yourself into your point, and you go, but so you have to take these things in and compartmentalize them a bit. But yeah, so my point anyway is that your true will, is kind of can be a kind of seen as that I get to decide what my life is about. I get to become Stephen King rather than the journalist, because that's what is expected of me in many ways, or that's how I'm going to thing. And it's like, no, it's not your will, but God's be done, or whatever. If you want to quote the Bible, or it's the Tao of the do as thou wilt is the the spirit, or it's you get to have function one, because we all have it. You've somewhat of a control over function two, maybe, because there's no way someone like say Steve Vai wasn't ever going to be a musician. He's even physically built for it, and like his hands are bigger. Same as Hendrix, his hands are big. Obviously, whatever. His big shoes, good at bowling. I don't know. There's something that, or whatever. And it's like the same as with me with art, or you with writing, or you with the Druid stuff. Like, it's like always go back to the Garth Shanley thing that he said to me years ago. And I want to quit this and fucking sick of it. And he goes, yeah. Try it. See how that works out for you. And look, here I am, back doing it. That's funny, isn't it? That's strange. So go back to Kingsley's kind of thing. If you think you make any decisions in your life, you're just a fool to think that. And sometimes, I get you. I understand.
I'm a fool then.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, I remember saying that last week with the free will. Like, there doesn't seem to be any evidence that we do have any free will.
No.
But we think we do.
Oh, for sure.
That's still kind of cool.
Sam Harris's book on free will. It's quite an eye-opener.
Oh, God, no, I can't take him at all. No. I listened to 4 or 5 of his podcasts years ago and just went, no.
Then what I suggest you do is you look at a YouTube of someone talking about that book, because there's some great points in it, if you can't listen to Sam Harris.
I suppose I could do that, yeah. Well, I mean, Sam Harris is the same as Jonathan Peugeot for me. He's just, shut up.
Yeah. Shut up with your Golden Girls money.
Just stop telling people what to do, like with your opinions. You don't get to tell anyone, Oh God, and we have to define truth before. No, he's one of them as well. No.
Jordan Peterson says that day that he's interviewed with Sam Harris, that first day where they spend an hour and a half defining truth, where all of this nonsense essentially started, is the worst day of his life. Like, that's where his that's where the night before, that's the food allergy thing that started. He had a mushroom or something. It's the day before, and that's day one. He gets that interview with Sam Harris, and then Cathy Newman, all the thing that happens after. But that's where his descent into hell starts. Sam Harris' podcast. Yeah. I've got 45 minutes into it. I've never finished. I don't know anyone who's finished that podcast. Is it possible? Is there an end to that podcast? Is
the Harris and Peterson? No, I'm not listening to that.
The first one.
God, no.
It's like all those things you hit about. But we really need to nail down what you mean by truth. I mean, all of those things that's the start of it.
I presume then the answer, and then he's asked for another definition.
Oh, they can't come to a definition to have that and the podcast.
Jesus, just get a fucking dictionary there, will you, lads? Oh, well, I have the Collins English, British English. Oh, damn it, I have the encyclopedia of, I don't know.
Scrabble table, just throw it up in the air. Well, if I can't have Ziggy Zog 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 as a double-letter word, no one can. Ziggy Zag Zag Zog is an actual Scrabble word.
See, look, I mean, look, as speaking as a podcaster, like, I honestly, I worry from time to time. Not very often, but every now and again it pops in my head, and I'm like, "Fuck you, Maura." Some old biddy running with those, those wheelie trolleys that they push in front of themselves.
You don't see them anymore. And they're all on motorbikes now. Grannies and motorbikes.
So I get this worry every now and again. I'm like, am I contributing anything really with the podcast? Am I? Like, it's not my podcast, your podcast, but like,
well, your name's on it, in fairness.
Well, okay, our podcast then, but it's your channel thing. But like, even like with the old comedy one, like got to the stage. Well, I knew with that one, I got to the stage where like I'm not contributing anything, or it's not fitting properly, so I just had to stop it. But even with this one, like I do get the thing every now and again. It's like, am Am I just adding to noise? I don't want to add to noise.
Yeah.
Because when I listen to Harris and Peterson together, I didn't listen to that one, but you know what I mean? For example, like for me, that's people just going around in a circle, and they're not. The people who are listening, they might think they're learning something, but you're not really learning that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Yeah, I don't want anyone to be listening to me and being like, oh, well, you know, Spud said that. Because, like, I mean, I don't take myself seriously. I think I'm not allowed to, because I know I'm a fuckwit. You know?
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'm a good person, but I also know there's huge swathes of me that are really stupid. You know?
I think the difference, and I hope people appreciate the difference in what we do and what compared to Sam Harris's, and I'll speak for myself because I can't speak for you, but I assume it's similar, is that I never from any time have said I know what the answer is, or know what truth is, or how you should lead your life, or what is right or what is wrong, or whatever. I can tell you what's going on in my life and what I'm thinking about at the minute, and that's as far as it. And, the rest is up to you. Like. So I'm not claiming to be a prophet. I'm not claiming to have contact with the goddess. I'm not any of these things. I'm not the righteous Orthodox Christian who's, you know, telling you what is, you know, the definition of sin, or whatever it is, you know, or even I don't have 12 rules for life, because I can pick a rule and next week it doesn't work for me. And I think that's the difference. I mean, you can add, I personally would hope that I'm adding to the conversation, not to the noise, because I'm coming from that point of view. And even if it is, in a sense, not helping anyone else, it's helping me. And the whole point of starting the podcast and the website and doing all of these things was the selfish reason of trying to sort my head out. And it's helping sometimes. Sometimes you read a book and go, oh, why did I read that book? Rack my head now. I thought I had a grasp of what was going on. Turns out, Spud's fucking awakened. Time is irrelevant. Doesn't exist. He's aware of the oneness in all things at all times. God, Spud's sledgehammer god. You know, you're like Thor. What is it? It's like your sledgehammer's like a bits of concrete on it. It's been left out overnight on the site.
No, I'd be dirty. I'd put like bits of glass and shit in it. You know.
So you're completely naked and a nappy. You're just wearing a nappy and a sledgehammer. Come on.
I'm ready for you. Bye.